This is Tom Wilson, owner of the Pittsburgh West Virginia. I just want to tell you a little bit about the West End, and on the Motor Railroad podcast was talking about switching puzzles, and I sort of have one on my railroad, but it's a lot of fun for the guys to do. It's not real complicated, but you have to think about your moves ahead of time and what you're going to do. So we'll talk about this. I'll go through it and tell you a little bit what I've done. This is another view of the West End. This is just on the other side of the buildings. But what we have is a switchback, and you have reduced plywood, which is right here, and the trains have to come in. Those are fairly easy to spot. But then we have a team track, and this actually was taken from the prototype on the track diagram book that I have. And so I have a team track. And then you were talking about runaround tracks. Well, to make this a little bit more difficult, my runaround track is off the main line, which is right here. Is our main runaround track. So the trains have to keep the main line clear, have to get permission from the dispatcher to do any switching out on the main line to run around their trains. Now the train we're looking at directly in front of this was the P&LE, which had interchange at the West End. It was a branch line, so we can put about 6 cars back in there, and they pull on here, and we swap cars around. And then next to it, we have Reading Camp Lumber Company, and we can put 2 cars in here, maybe 3. And then now the other switching, what we have down here is we have the interchange with the Montour Railroad, and that's the P&W V2300 sitting on the interchange track, and behind that is a P&LE. So I take it that P&LE was owned by the Montour. Montour was owned by the P&LE. So we have a unit train that runs here up to Mifflin, but this gives us more interchange action down here. And the last one is we have, these are all stand-ins, but a team track in front of Hans Furniture, so you can spot cars there. So we have spotting number 1 and team track 2. So we have it so you have different spots, all within about, this is around 8 feet long. And if you took, and you can make a whole diorama or a section out of this, because right here it goes to the staging, to the Connellsville staging, and then on my railroad here, the track right here is going up. That's going up the branch line up to Mifflin. So this little area has a lot of switching. You have to keep clear of the main line. There's branch line trains that come down, all while you're trying to work in here. So I've seen guys come down here for an hour to an hour and a half, actual real time, doing the switching. Just thought, like to see what the switching puzzle on my railroad is. It's a lot of fun, and one of the items what they were talking on the podcast, which I had made sure I had enough room, is this car, this flat car, which is sitting here. You have to have enough room to put the engine and caboose. What makes this unique about this little area is you can move those cars if there's. Sometimes there's 2, 3, 4, sometimes there's only 1 car in there. You have to move it out of the way to get your engine and the other car down in here. So it's more, you have to think about how you're going to make your moves and what you're going to do. What we have here is my card box, and this is for the cars here in the West End. Each industry has a car card, and it tells you where it's going to go. And if you need an off spot, if it needs an off spot, I'll put a little card in there that says off spot. That means it needs to be spotted the next time it comes around. And since the industries down here, you only can put 1 car at a time in the buildings, that makes it, you may have to come down here and do your off spot switching. Plus you have to think about what you're going to do ahead of time on the team tracks. One other question was brought up about setting brakes if you're on a grade. Well, this is on my Mifflin branch, and this is a pretty good grade going up here. This is a Continental can. But what I use is a alligator clip, and what we have is it clips on the rail, car goes against it, and hold it in place. So that's a quick, easy way to do it. Yeah, it's not prototypical, but those are my brakes on my cars, and I have all of it laid out. Simple little alligator clips and a couple little pieces soldered onto it.